Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the globe listening to this second edition of SSLS Parish League podcast. We welcome you wherever you are to join us, and we look forward to your inputs whenever you can. This evening, before we introduce our guests, let me recognize our platinum sponsors, the sponsors who made this event possible. ACB Caribbean, Simply Smarter Banking. For 43 years, ACB has partnered with Antigua Parish League Cricket. So we are asking you for that kind of level of support. We are asking you to patronize Antigua Commercial Bank for all your financial needs. Visit them today and do your thing. Seeker Pharmacy. For all your medical and pharmaceutical needs, it's Seeker Pharmacy, your one-stop vitality store to keep the body in a healthy and vibrant state. They are located on the corner of High and Temple Street. And last but not least, Plumbing Electrical Limited, PEL, with a wide assortment of plumbing and electrical fittings. Whether you need retail or wholesale, Plumbing Electrical Limited has the quality and quantity to meet your expectation. Plumbing Electrical Limited, PEL, bordering on the Potters and Herberts community. Well, this evening we have two of our local guests with us in the persons of Michelle Williams and Mansfield Thomas,
hello,
aka Master Weaver.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, could you say a little bit about yourself and let the public know?
My name is Mansfield Thomas from Antigua. We've with the coconut palm fronds. We've anything that you desire. Anything else you want me to say, sir?
You can tell us when you start, how you start.
Oh, start from fishing, mending fish nets, and from fish nets, little leather, wire, metal, palm, coconut palms. We with any element practically. Started from a beach, Jolly Beach, Heats Bay, the right name, Jolly Heats Bay, mending the fish nets with the old fisherman.
Nice.
And that turned me into weaving, travel, go overseas, do weaving, mending, nets, and come back home, start to do the coconuts.
Okay.
And make practically anything from the coconut palm fronds.
Lovely.
Okay, we'll get into some more details about that. Michelle, could you introduce yourself to the public and let them know who Michelle is?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Williams. The name of my business is Macramish. What I do is to handcraft macrame jewelry and accessories. I use cord, polyester cord, as well as healing crystals, glass beads, also plastic beads, and different types of stones and metals. The business name was derived by my name, Michelle, and the technique that I use, macrame. So the name of the business, Macramish. And macrame is basically a technique used by tying knots until textile designs are formed. As you can see here in the front, I have a beautiful necklace, earring, and bracelet set. I also make bracelets singly, earrings singly, necklaces singly, anklets, as well as key rings and camera hangings. There are quite a few other items that I will be bringing on stream soon. So once you follow me on my social media handles, which I will advise you of later on, you will be able to follow my progress.
Wonderful. Well, for the benefit of all listeners out there in Media Land, these two folks are not only here to speak about the products that they create. We're going to speak a little bit about sports that they've been involved with. As you may have heard before, this show is all about showcasing sports and skills of a local nature. And this is why you hear these two folks talking about the craft that they create. And we'll be introducing you to some of the creation. Maybe we'll ask Manfield to weave a hat so the public could see the kind of skill set that we're talking about. So Michelle, how did you get involved in jewelry making? What prompted you to choose that business path?
That's a very popular question. In 2018, I had a cousin in the US who was making jewelry pieces. At that time, I would have gotten familiar with the search engine called Pinterest. So Pinterest basically has a lot of pictures and ideas, and I saw this beautiful white bracelet set. It had either three or four strands with different designs on it. And at the time, still now, I'm not a fan of wearing jewelry, but that particular bracelet set caught my attention and I wanted it. So I had asked my cousin if she was able to make something like that, and she said no. Then I realized no one here in Antigua made them either.
Okay.
So I started to do my own research, brought in products, and trial and error led me to making a lot of bracelets at the time, so it became a hobby. Basically tying the different knots and learning how to do so on my own, because it's self-taught, allowed me to have a way to channel my energy and to use my extra time doing something that I like.
Impressive.
It went from liking it to loving it, and now I just have this insatiable passion for the art.
As a business.
Yes,
Wonderful.
and that would have started in 2018. September is when I would have first made a bracelet, and then in December I registered the business after giving away at least 50 to 100 pieces, and I was encouraged to make it a business.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes.
So basically, that research that you did and realized that there is a need for this kind of business in Antigua prompted you to basically start this business.
Correct.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And Mr. Thomas, your craft, I understand, has been all over the globe. The creation of the craft that you as an artisan have been involved with over the years has reached just shows of, well, actually, I actually saw pieces of yours in Switzerland and in Germany,
Everywhere, Iceland.
I mean, it's amazing. So let the public know how you got involved in that type of work, and whether or not you have a cadre of young folks that you're teaching the craft, because we need to do that to have some kind of continuity.
There is people that I teach and who are there weaving, making the work, doing jobs, working the beach now.
Okay.
I don't work the beach so much now anymore. How we get involved is, we didn't go on for try to work for myself. I don't want to work for nobody. I used to work and bake bread in all the baker shop. I used to play basketball with Vivi and football too.
Okay.
Used to play with all the guys in them from Pine and Villa basketball, you know. But so we decided to work for myself. And this is how we end up with weaving the palms.
Okay.
I weave fishnet, I weave even crochet. You know, can we prefer to work for myself than to work for somebody else?
I hear you. That would be the ambition of most folks if they could afford to.
I mean,
do it.
working for yourself is much easier and more relaxing, no stress, you know. So that's a simple thing.
One of the questions I would like to ask both of our guests is, how do you see us as a people moving forward in Antigua in terms of harnessing these kind of talents and have them exposed in a central area where it's easy for folks to come up and know, well, I'm going to the craft market, and I'm going to see a variety of stuff. I mean, we don't have that. So this medium showcasing some of your work is one part of it, but in terms of having a central area in Antigua where that can be done as a daily event, so to speak, how do you see that?
Well, I can say that it is not an impossible feat. This is something that can definitely be done. However, it would be a situation where we would need all hands on deck. So vendors or artisans, as well as the government and ministers that would be responsible for these type of things, would definitely need to chip in and be able to provide those avenues for the vendors and artisans. Now, with regards to having a central place, I'm not really sure how far they would get to having just one area. It may be very well best to have us like spread out instead of just one direct area. I do know that there is, there are a few booths being used down by the post office. They call it Vendor Square.
In the Shaba.
Okay, I'm not sure about that one. There's still also the craft market down by Vendors Mall. There are different areas that persons are already set up, and so I believe they could just continue doing that, just have different areas instead of one central area, and the opportunity would just be available to all the artisans and vendors around the island. Now, outside of that, there are persons who are already making progress with regards to getting that exposure for us as vendors and artisans. There are persons who would set up markets or market days. So for example, the Austin West Marketplace. They're actually having 5 markets this year. Last year was their first, so this is their second year doing this. They had one on February 6th. There is one coming up on May 1st, and there will be 3 others. One in July, another in October, and another in December. Now, this is an open-air major shopping experience for persons who are coming to the islands, persons who are living here locally, and it allows vendors and artisans to be able to showcase their services as well as their products. So it's not just products, services as well.
Oh, great. That's refreshing to hear, because, I mean, over the years, we've had lots of complaints from small business owners like yourself, not getting this sort of exposure that is necessary to showcase their skills and their products. So that's refreshing to hear.
Definitely. And there are more persons who are coming on stream in doing so. For example, on March 5th, I would have participated in a market that was aimed towards female entrepreneurs. The name of that market was CEO. It was held at the Environmental Division.
CEO.
Yes, and there were over 40 female entrepreneurs and vendors there.
Wow.
There actually is another market coming up, and it has something to do with sports as well, so perfect opportunity to speak about it on this platform. And that is being hosted by the Wing Sports Club. The name of the market is the Wing Sports Club Flea Market, yes, the flea market for the Wing Sports Club, and that's basically in order to receive funding for the development of the youth basketball club. That event will be held at the Christ the King High School on Old Palm Road on April 3rd, that's a Sunday, so everyone is welcome to come out. The proceeds to enter, well, the fee to enter is just $2, only $2. You will receive a free drink upon entry. And there are lots of food, lots of drink, and other vendors who are selling their local products and services there. And they are actually still accepting vendors. So if you have a business and you wish to get exposure, wish to put out your products and services, you can use a tent, you can use a van. There is also an option for stall. It's just $50 to register as a vendor. And you can contact Valencia Brunette at 786-2881. That is 786-2881. And you can get more exposure for your business. And just to touch back on All Saints West Marketplace. This is spearheaded by a very well-organized planning committee. It includes Janam Limited. So those are the Manic sisters, Tamara and Joy, as well as Honorable Minister Michael Brown.
Okay.
So he is a part of that as well. So we get the exposure that we need. We will receive radio exposure. They definitely go out of their way to try to get free radio interviews for us, as well as better pricing, better rates for us to go on the radio. So all that is there are different things that are being done by different persons, but in terms of the question that you asked, it's not impossible, it's just to get it done, and all hands must be on deck. It can't be one-sided because it will never work.
One of the reasons why I asked that question, when traveling abroad, in almost every country that I've been to, there is that kind of setup
I
for,
see.
you know, the local craft and skills and display. And I just wondered whether or not we have the capacity to do that here in Antigua as well. So that was the genesis for that question.
Okay.
Well, since our ancestry days, when our ancestors were sold into slavery here, there was always a synergy between sports and culture.
Right.
Always. I mean, so it's really refreshing to see that you guys are using your hands to create skills. That is something that we inherited from our African ancestry.
Agreed.
The game of worry is part of that, and they use so we want to continue that that legacy of twinning our cultural skills with our sports.
Right.
And on that note, Mansfield, I know you dabble a bit in worry, and you are a die-hard worry fan, so tell us a little bit about your involvement and where did you learn the game and how you got involved in terms of loving the game so much.
Well, the same beach, Jolly Beach, Heats be the right name. We used to play worry under the worry tree. And then we thought of we make the roll and then we play worry. But I never understand where we were going down. Until when we come to town, they mark it, and then we learn and understand about worry.
Okay.
And then we meet all the great ones. And then we realize a real game, a good game that keep you from maths, and make you so highly in maths that nobody really can rob you, not even currency, because you understand this game so powerful. This is a real powerful mind game. I think it's the most powerful one out of all. And then we come in and line with you, and the grandmaster or something have to shut rub off. So we get blow and we share blow.
Nice.
You know, but that's when we come get involved in love worry. But now going back now to people like this lovely lady and me with our skill, we're not getting the right benefit from these things because the people prefer to buy the stuff from other countries, we don't really want to call the name, other countries, and bring them here and sell them, and the people pass our stuff and buy them. You know, and so that's what we so like. So if we come together and do this is a nice program. If we come together and do this and have all our, look at that skill, that is incredible.
I'm telling
I mean, just like me. Second beyond. You know, so for this happen, okay, so me funny, right? She know that you don't know this. Me really never had nothing to do. Nah, dark. Okay. Okay, keep me up. Okay? So anything else you do?
Yeah. Could you demonstrate for the public
Of course.
Yes.
to make one of your
I'll make two things if you want me to. I'll make a
Yeah,
hat,
go ahead. Go right ahead.
I'll make a
and a
hat and a
basket?
basket.
Yeah, we want to showcase that to the public.
And we can't find nothing now.
This man is a magician with a knife.
I see, because remember when we just came in, he just,
Oh, he just
and then
did
he
that.
made the
He
roll,
made the
and
roll,
he
so-
handed it to me. I was like, wait, when did that happen? Yeah, he's really, really good, and he's fast, super fast.
This doesn't take much time and neither a hat.
But while you're looking at the craft, though, Mansfield, worry has gone through a sort of dormant
But right now
stage.
to me, the head of the war, whichever, is not now really produce nothing for worry. I mean, we can play the game, we master the game here.
No, but
We play the game.
But how can we get that revived? We need to keep the fire burning where that is concerned.
Yeah, but
As long as we stood the test of time and
but at the head of the worry, at the head, who control the head now? Them need to step up and do something with worry. They not do nothing.
eventually we'll get that going.
So why we need another overlook man. When we when we go down this is Trevor. When we go down in the night time go play Wari. You know what happened? Nobody there for play. You go down there now from 9 o'clock, nobody at all.
That things have changed.
So we have a play with who can play.
We'll get that back on track eventually.
I mean, I would have tampered with worry a little bit as a youngster as well. I say that like if I'm so old. But when I was much younger, because my grandmother had this large carving, an alligator carving.
Okay.
Yeah, with the worry board. There was a large alligator carving, and she always used to be like, put that worry board. Because my brother and I would just take it out and just have it pushing around like when you were a kid and you had these little toy cars pushing around, so we used to push around the board and then
But she actually played the game.
yeah, eventually we got the worry beads.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called, but we started to learn how to do it, and it was very fun.
They call it nickels in Antigua, but they're actually the seeds from the Casalpina plant.
Oh.
I was telling her why she didn't use those for her jewelry.
Yeah, when we were outside waiting.
Some
yeah, we
people
spoke
use
about
that.
it briefly.
Yeah.
Because we use them and still weed with them, you know. And weed was the thing in which was like we do it
Right.
with the worry.
The basket almost finished now.
Yeah, this man is
Yeah,
really
so as he was rightfully saying, it allows you to develop your computation skills. So as you're putting the stones or the seeds, you're counting and you're saying, okay, if I drop it here, what's going to be left? And can I grab this? You know, it was very fun.
strategy.
And you're correct.
And you know, we find with worry, Trevor, we find that if you have a problem at your home and you go and play worry, you normally lose, but then you get to understand the problem that you have home. Because once you have a problem, you can't go play worry, you get low.
You have to focus.
Yeah, you say you
Okay, while you're weaving away the Mansfield, Michelle,
Yes.
could you tell the public a little bit about the bodybuilding that you first took part in as a sporting venture?
Yeah.
And how did you first start in bodybuilding? And
That's a story to tell.
that to me is also a dying art in Antigua. I don't know.
not really. But
Yeah.
it's not dying. It's progressive.
It is?
It would have seemed so, but the
We compete with one
younger
another.
generation now,
They're not doing it, you're right.
no, that's not what I'm saying. They realize and notice that it is dying, so they're making strides to bring it back alive or to have it continued. Okay, so basically, my first competition was August 2015. I would have competed in the body fitness category. So that is just a step up from bikini. So we all wear bikinis, but we're not just walking and flaunting, you know, all nice buttocks and flat abs and small
Yeah, can you
waist.
film that?
For body fitness, we did a little bit more. So we had to develop the back a bit more and develop a lot of the body parts a bit more than the regular bikini model, so to speak.
Yeah.
So how I started bodybuilding, it's a very touchy topic. However, I used to date a bodybuilder in 2015, and normally I would just follow him to the gym because I didn't have anything to do in the evening and would watch him working out. And eventually, as he started to progress in the sport, he needed someone to spot him, but there weren't that many persons in the gym who would spot him. So spotting is basically a situation where you're lifting heavier than your normal capacity to lift, and you have someone there just in case, you know, you falter or if you need an extra push up while you're doing a particular routine. So
That has to be very, very carefully handled.
correct. So when time passed, I decided that I would start lifting weights so that I can become stronger in order to spot him.
Okay.
So that's that's how it started. Now the first gym I went to was Steve's gym, Iron Basic, and Mr. Williams used to always be like, "Young lady, you need to go on the stage. You have the body for that. You have the build, the motivation." And I was like, "No, I'm a very reserved person. You won't catch me dead or alive on the beach in a bikini, much less on the stage,
Really?
showing the whole world my goodies."
So how then
Were
did
you
you,
shy with that?
how then did you get
pretty much.
involved?
So after a
How
while,
did you,
yeah, I'll get into that. Trust me, that's what I said. It's a story to tell.
Okay.
So after a few months, we moved to Barrow's gym, and we were there for a while. And persons in that gym now used to come and tell me the same thing, Miss Williams. Tell me, you know, you should compete. And I'm like, no. And then I didn't want to diet because I'm a person who loves my tummy. I'm a foodie. So I want to eat what I want, when I want, and I love sugar. I love junk. You have to cut out those things, you know, and eventually it would have to be a lifestyle. And I did not want to just up and decide, okay, I'm going to change my entire lifestyle because of bodybuilding. However, at the time, while working out and being able to help spot my spouse at the time, I decided that, you know, maybe I should give it a shot. I was obsessed. That's the word I'm going to use. I was obsessed with Miss Roseanne Wallington. She was the body fitness champion for years until she got her pro card a few years ago. And I said, you know what, she makes this look so easy. Operative word, she makes it look easy. It's nowhere close to easy. But just like anything else, once you have a passion for something, you will get it done. You will find ways to get it done. You will always have that motivation. You will get that determination, and consistency will come easy once you're determined and you're motivated. So the guy and I broke up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna compete.
so that was motivation again for you?
Yeah, so I said I was gonna do it. I'm gonna break out my shell a little bit because I had modeled before as well. Even that, I decided to take up modeling.
She was a supermodel?
I was very shy and very reserved. So as you see me talking here like this, I am a chatterbox, but in my own circle. So I would not go in front of an entire crowd and just speak and do everything else like other persons would do naturally.
In your comfort zone, yeah.
Correct. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to compete, but it was like really close to the show. Usually persons would take 4 to 10 months to get ready for a show. I was getting ready for this show in 12 weeks. 12 weeks to burn all the fat that I need to burn and build the muscle mass that I need to build, as well as have aesthetics and symmetry and be able to pose, because it's everything.
So how demanding was that? I mean,
It was very, very demanding. I would have reached out to previous Mr. Antigua, Kenny Jacobs, in order to get my training. So he would have trained me, and closer to the show, like 4 weeks out, I had to go to the gym twice a day. Early in the morning, and I'm not a morning person, so I had to wake up very early, and then in the afternoon or evening after work. So what was happening is that I would have needed to have a strict diet plan in order to get my body to where it needs to be, because working out or exercising is 20% and nutrition and diet is 80%.
wow.
I had to up my water intake to a gallon of water per day. At the time I was working at a call center, so when they see me coming in, I had this big jug of water, and I don't drink cold water. So a lot of persons would be, they'll be like, oh, you're giving me upset stomach with that big bottle of warm water. But it was fun. I could say that much. It was fun. It was a lot of work because of how close I was to competition time. But I found the motivation and the determination to push, and My trainer, Kenny, oh boy, he is a beast. So I was being trained like a man, not, you know, those little petty 5 pounds and 10 pounds that females will be lifting in the gym.
What you tell yourself,
He throw you in at the deep end.
Yeah,
He threw you in at the deep end.
basically. So, and at the time too, I had reached out to Sharon Sanchez for assistance, so she helped me with nutrition. There was someone from Guadeloupe who would have reached out to me to provide guidance for my nutrition as well, and I just went from there. Yeah, almost done. Yeah, so I basically just went from there, and for my first show in August of 2015, I would have won a gold medal in the
Did you?
tall class.
You did?
Yes.
That's very impressive.
I know, and everyone was shocked. I was shocked
You
also.
was shocked. You did the right height. Your height was the height for the bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that you were too tall.
There are different categories.
Yeah, but you were too,
height.
yeah, they do that, but you're the right size. It's you.
Okay, if you say so.
Like me might be in the too big size.
Right, and then in 2016, which would have been the following year, they would have brought about powerlifting.
Okay.
And by this time, I could hold my own with regards to heavy weights, so I wanted to try out for that. The only thing was I never used to work my pectoral muscles, so that's chest. I hate working chest because for me, I should have those. When you work the pectoral muscles a lot, basically what happens, fat reduction. Breast is made of tissues and fat. So when you're going to be working out like that, tissues be going. They're gone.
Wow.
Right? But I mean, to each his own. It didn't shrink my breast too much, and I did not look like a man. There is this myth and stereotype with regards to women
know.
lifting weights,
I
they look
know.
like a man. I mean, anyone who knows me, do I look like a man? Have I ever looked like a man? No. Look at the other female bodybuilders. They don't look like men. We look like women. We just have a little more muscle tone, and they just look superb. I don't know where they get this thing about looking like a man. So with regards to the powerlifting competition, I started training for it. Adrian Merrick and Mr. Barrow was training me for that at the time, and I pulled the muscle in my pectoral.
Wow.
Yeah, at the time I had to go to the late Sir Prince Ramsey to check it out, and he gave me muscle relaxers, but it wasn't an injury that I would not be able to compete again, or that I would damage myself. Thank you. Or that I would damage myself, you know what I mean? So, so I was quite fine
Okay.
going forward. I would have made a PR. I still don't even know what my 1 rep max would be, because when you're doing powerlifting, it's the maximum weight you can lift just doing 1 repetition. 1 repetition meaning you do the exercise from start to completion once. The heaviest I've gone was with deadlift. So for deadlift, I was lifting 315 pounds, and at that time I was doing 5 repetitions. So I don't know what my 1 rep max is.
5 repetitions.
5 repetition. They did have a powerlifting competition on March 5th. They are trying to bring it back. So they had a competition on March 5th. And I would say if I decide to go into powerlifting again, my competitor, the person that I would have to look out for, is Miss Leisha Marcelin. Arlene Martin is who trains her, and the
Okay,
girl is
that's-
strong.
Okay.
She's powerful.
She's
and
the
she looks
inspiration.
very, she looks very determined. So if I do go back, yeah, I'd have to contend with her. Although she wasn't the one to win out on that night for the females, she placed 3rd. She's definitely one to look out for.
So what did you place when you entered?
I didn't.
You didn't?
The injury caused me
that caused you to pull
sit
out.
out. Yeah. And then the next time I competed was December 2016, when the regional show was hosted here in Antigua. I would have placed 3rd of four ladies. And once again, I decided that I was going to compete last minute. So I never stayed in the gym. I never made it a lifestyle, as I said prior. It was
Yeah.
not going to be a lifestyle change for me. If I decide I'm going to compete, I will think about it until the very last minute and then decide to go. rigorous in the gym and then go on the stage.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, while we're carrying on our conversation with Michelle Lee, Mansfield Thomas, aka the Master Weaver, has weaved some magic. That hat that Michelle Lee has on her head on was just made in what? In about 20 minutes?
No.
No, because he made the basket first.
I know. I mean,
everything.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
So everything.
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes.
Everything.
And look at the quality. I don't know. You can
see it.
Mr. Producer,
Yes,
you can.
it's good, yeah.
Put it on table, put it in, you fit everybody.
Wow, I like one of those Japanese.
Your fishy hat and basket, Trevor.
And this basket,
Yes.
and the angel fish.
And the rules.
So what's happening now, Michelle, as it relates to the bodybuilding? Where are we in terms of having young folks involved, so you have some level of continuity for the future of the sport?
Well, I'm no longer part of the bodybuilding fraternity, but I do follow them on social media, so their Facebook and Instagram handle. If you type in ABABWF, you will be able to find them. There is an upcoming championships being held in Aruba, and we do have someone who's going to represent Antigua.
Participating.
Yes, that is Kenroy Christian. His height is 191 centimeters, so he'll be competing in the taller category over there. The name of the championship is the Giovanni Ardez Championship. That will be held on March 26th. So he's going out to represent Antigua, and I just want to take this opportunity to wish him all the best. The National Bodybuilding Championships, they're doing it a little different this time around. Basically, they're going to have a novice competition as well as the regular championships. So the novice competition are for persons, will be for persons who are competing for the very first time. So if you're competing for the first time and there's something that was holding you back before because you didn't want to go up against the big boys, you have an opportunity to compete on your own with persons who are the same level as you, right, novice, and then on the 25th they will have the regular show. So June 24th and 25th are when they're going to have the national championships.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
I hope they...
Well, we sports too, right?
Of course, yeah, so we could talk some more about that. But let me ask you, coming back to your products now,
Yes.
we're moving back and forth with
That's fine.
sports, and if I need to get some of your goodies here, where can we purchase them?
All right, so Macromesh at the present moment is a home-based business. So what I do is I offer my services to be connected through social media. So you can contact me on WhatsApp at 726-4909. That is 726-4909. I also have a catalog on my WhatsApp feed. So even if you have not messaged me before and you're in my chat window, top right corner, you will see the store icon. Once you click on the store icon, you will be able to view the products that I have in stock, and I also have customer submissions there, so you can get to see the products that I've done before and get a feel of what I am able or capable to do. I also run a Facebook and Instagram page, so you can definitely see all my products there, and that is Macromiche, MACRAMICHE on Facebook and Instagram. I recently started a TikTok page as well. TikTok creating is very hard. It is definitely hard to be a content creator, so persons who do that, they're very skilled also. I tip my hat to them.
It's hard.
It is difficult. It's a lot of work. But once you contact me on WhatsApp, you'll be able to place an order, or I could meet you somewhere in order for you to see the products that I have. After that, I will also be at different markets. I will be at the market coming up on April 3rd, and that is at the Christ the King Secondary School from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday, April 3rd. I will also be at the Easter Bazaar in the Golden Grove playing field on April 17th, as well as at the All Saints West Marketplace in the CV Farm playing field on May 1st. So I do physical markets, and then you can reach out to me through social media.
Wow, sound like you have a full calendar.
Always.
So we can find me now?
Yes, Mr. AKA Master Weaver.
Yeah, you can find me at Shirley Heights on every Sunday from 4 until 10, and Thursday as well at Shirley Heights. And at home, you can call my number, 728-6414. That's how you can get in touch with me. And Facebook and the rest. They took up me.
You don't want to market your product to that level.
Eh?
You don't want to market your product to that
You
level.
really can, but it doesn't too much stress. I'm ageable now.
Oh my! I mean, if you really want to get that done, there are persons who offer that.
You're like my
service.
kids.
How often do we have young folks reaching out to learn how to continue this type of work?
No, normally it's come from the school. The school will call me to teach the kids.
Okay.
Well, like
St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas, St. Anthony's. And the kids, once they call me, whatever I teach the kids, they learn it up to now.
Wow.
They learn it right away. Teach them to make fish, teach them to make little birds. And every time we go to the art class, they make it.
Some time ago, you mentioned to me that the involvement of yourself in Wari has helped you to do this craft. How do you link the two?
Well, it's like the numbers, like 2, 4, 6, 8. That's very weak.
No.
But then 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 9 is very strong.
Numbers. Okay.
So when you put that to Wari, just like the opening of the game, you know, you make me go and open the game and run the same game from the back way and from the middle. And then you get more strength and understand that particular game. Just like the fish game, find one menu as material.
Nice. Wow.
I'm always fascinated when you mention the 2/4, the 4/, whatever when you weave it.
You see, yeah, because in these
You
numbers,
always talk about the numbers.
2,
I try to
4,
connect them.
6, 8, these are weak numbers, just like the weave-in.
Oh.
It's like the weave-in here. If you put 2 and 2 together, you can't get most
No
strength.
strength. Okay.
But if you just add 3 to it, just add another, put the next one, make 3, and you can continue and you get strength.
Wow.
I see.
So you put the add number, and you end up to the next add number, then when you finish, so you get strength by adding the next one to it.
It's a similar concept that I try to teach people in the game of Wari. Whenever you have odd numbers on the board,
At the ending,
especially at the end, towards the end game, you have to be very strategic because
when to take a cut.
exactly.
Because if you don't do
When to
the game.
lose or when to take.
So like if it's 10-10, if it's 10, 5 and 5, it's typically, but if you cut me, you can cut your back.
Gotcha.
But if you cut, you're gonna cut me, you can lose your 5, you can lose your 5. So you have, so which way you do as I do, when you have the same number. When you have an odd number, like he would know, can explain, Trevor would explain that.
It's very dangerous when you have odd numbers on the board. I've seen guys with, the objective is to get 25 before your opponent. I've seen guys with 21, 20, and you may have 5. And because you're so skillful at executing your end game, you end up winning the game.
Wow.
Because you have 20,
Because
which is weak.
yeah. You know, it's a fascinating game, and we thank our forefathers.
It's in your skill too, in your art.
Yeah.
The same thing is inside of it too.
Correct.
When you do the needle, and if you go in 1 and come back 2, and you go 2, and you can run out, but if you go 3, it lock.
There's no needlework, by the way. It's just tying knots. But yes, you are correct.
It's in everything, even in the cameras. It's in everything. Not just weaving and this thing, everything else. It's in everything. It's the art the numbers is very important. You know, and this is the key, like Trevor know how to mix the numbers.
Well, that's why he's the grandmaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
But how long does it take you to make one of those simple ones?
Okay, how this is.
I see that you have different.
Now what it is is that let's say we weave 100 baskets. Now 100 baskets to make. When we reach about maybe like 25, maybe we'll take maybe 15 minutes to do each one. But when we reach 25, the other 75 may take, let's say we take an hour to do the 25. Time we reach the 25, the other 75 may take an hour. Because in the more we weave, the faster we get.
Correct.
Okay.
Just like you too?
Yeah.
The
So if
That's
I
an interesting phenomenon.
definitely, because what happens is that
You're saying
The
the longer
mind-
you weave,
the faster you
the
get.
faster you
yes,
get.
because your mind and your motor
We
skill.
will not have in 2 minutes.
You see? See?
I would be thinking that it happens in the opposite. The longer you weave,
Not when
the
you're
more
getting
you
tired.
get
I think
tired.
you're thinking about that, but
Yeah.
not in that sense. Once you pace yourself and you're doing the same knot or the same technique over and over, what happens is that now your mind and your motor skills are moving the same. Sometimes I stop counting, I'm just doing this. I'm
Yes.
watching something on Netflix and my hand is just
Yes.
and when I'm done, I'm
When
like,
he
okay,
make
cool.
the rolls, he do it with his eyes closed.
The
Right,
same thing.
Look at this.
right, because everything now just comes
He
natural,
makes this
just
in
going.
like seconds.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, mass producing is an art in mass producing. Like right now, we do the tree crown, we do crown like this. So we start from tree.
Oh.
So we do 3 of them, and right, and the 3 of them done, the home done. Now when we go back home, we do 2 more. That'll make 5. You know, we work with the numbers. We work with the numbers a lot.
Likewise, so if I'm doing something or a product, if I'm making a product, what I would do is I'll make 3 different colors or I'll make 5 different colors.
Okay.
So that's why I said out here now,
So
3,
limited.
3.
Limited.
Yeah, but that's strength. It's strength.
No, I'm not talking about the strength in terms of the display here. You say you put out 5, or you make unique pieces.
I do. What happens, right, is that I would offer personalization and customization. Now, someone would ask, what's the difference? Because they sound the same, based on what other persons tell them. But for me, customization is basically a situation where I have a product here, so like I have this red necklace, and you want it customized, that's you choosing a different color, just the
Okay.
color. Or you choose a different pattern per se that you want me to change on it, but it's the same design. Personalization is a little more personal. So at this point, you're now going to tell me what you want different altogether, or I would make a pattern just for you. It goes as far as you're the only person who has that particular piece.
Okay.
Right, so I do mass production and standard pieces, meaning you can just customize it, change the colors, change the stone that I use, and then I also offer personalization where you can choose exactly what you want, how you want it, and if you don't want
So
it, you want
excuse me,
to have it.
so how much money these necklaces, these over here?
This necklace set that is on display here is 210 EC.
You a sugar mama. We don't want business trouble. We have trouble.
That's not nice.
That's nice. What you mean that's not nice?
I'm a sugar mama.
No meaning that you make plenty money. Don't push it now.
It's relative. Making plenty money is relative because even though this costs $210, how long does it take to sell? How many of these do I get on
I'm
order?
selling it.
Oh,
It may sell it is a different story.
okay.
Me make the tours by this
Hey, so you can sell ice for Eskimo.
as well. You know,
Right.
salesman is a fine art, you know.
Yeah.
It's not making this is good.
I understand.
Making all of that is good for me, but no better when Trevor know.
He's a
We
villain.
sell them like you.
He's a
The
villain.
person says no, and then tell me yes.
Yes, that's good. But in terms of the time it takes to make the items, I have simple pieces that can take 15 minutes. Like 15 minutes is the least amount of time I'd probably
So it was $200, sorry. It was 200 and how much?
210.
210 now, right? Gas gone up, everything gone up, so now that's a $500 right there.
No, right? You have such a job.
It's
The
still
price gone up,
$110.
I mean, she have to drive come here, up, gas gone up. So 500 now.
Oh my goodness. So persons?
So the
Right,
thread, the
it's now
material,
$500.
Trevor wants to ask you, the thread that you use, where it really come from?
The cord, I purchased them in the US. So I ordered them online.
You know, in Africa, they have real nice thread work and make jewelry too.
Yeah, I have done research that.
They have fine, they have nice thread, real good stuff. And they make, like that, they leave now like you have a shirt, they put some down like this on the shirt.
They're different sizes.
No, they put something, like a necklace, around the edge with this, the same thing like what they
Well,
do.
typically African craft is like that.
Yeah, they put them, it's not just like how you have them there, like this. Then we put this right on the neck, and so on.
And I have them.
Right, just like this, just like right on the edge, like
It's
this.
like it's part of the
shirt.
shirt.
Oh, okay.
that's
Got it.
what
We make it on bags and shoes and hat.
Yes.
Like
I've seen those too.
Like this,
Part of my research.
like this, you can put that right around the edge, that around the edge, the same thing. And you can make it thicker, smaller.
Right.
Africa, that's what they do. They do use kind of animal here, you know. They use elephant, steel, many different animals. They have.
Okay.
So Michelle, in terms of you do all this alone, or do you have help?
Yes, I make everything on my own. As I would have briefly mentioned earlier, it is self-taught. So I basically watch YouTube videos in order to know what knots I should use to produce a particular design. So I watch a lot of tutorials, and most of these tutorials, they're not in English.
No.
So, no.
So you have to consult your.
No, I just watch. I just watch.
What
I am
language
very
you
keen.
in?
Some are in Mandarin, some are in Spanish, some are in French. I've watched those in Dutch and German. There's an Italian lady that does some really nice tutorials as well. So all I do is I put it on mute and I just pay attention. I open the video full screen, or if I have it on my phone, I just pay attention. So I'm watching keenly to see where their hand go, which chord they take, what they do, which knot they
Okay.
use. Yes, it's a lot of work.
That must be serious concentration.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem
It is.
is, she knows the name of the ties that she used.
Yes, I know.
So she knows this one could be a flat knot, or this one could be a half inch.
But even knowing the name and they speak in a different language, it doesn't do anything for me. So I just
Not
have to watch.
for you, yeah, but then when you finish watching, you're going to do it. You make
Yeah,
it
of course,
perfectly.
definitely. Definitely. The longest I've taken to make an item is about 7 hours, but of course, I do not do that straight through.
7
When
hours?
I realize it's going to take a long time, I set a schedule. So I decide I'm going to work on this for 2 hours today and stop tomorrow another 2 hours, and then the following
You
day I'll
pace
finish up.
yourself.
Correct.
This basket I sell for about 12 US.
Okay.
The hat, I sell that for about 25 US. Well, gas gone up now.
So they double?
No, they don't double. They don't double. But I had to pay, I put in $100 to gas today. $100 full tank, no $100 half the tank.
Well,
So coming back to
Touchy,
your
touchy
products now,
subject. Yes.
Michelle, if you had to train someone to do that, they would have to be seriously motivated, because
That is correct.
based on what you're telling me, that if you take in 7 hours to make a piece, what kind of price would you put on that?
Well, maybe if she's like me, it's like me produce the machine to produce, help me.
persons say that all the time.
You
Oh,
can.
why not use a machine or
You know, we
add
started
a
doing
machine?
machine ready for weave, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah, we started, the guy make the things on them for me, and the machine helped me, but we just forget it, because when the guy want too much money to go to the next step. We get something to hold the palm and push it, so I bring it back in, and put in 1, 2 palm, but then, you know, you need the next piece, and you want to charge me a big bat of money.
Certain arts or certain craft, are meant to be handmade.
Yeah, but you can produce the machine, because if you make the craft,
They're meant to be
you
handmade.
can make,
Literally.
there's some
You can?
things.
You can make the machine to do the...
No, I never said that. I said the products.
She can,
Certain products need to be handmade. That's what I'm saying. There are machines that make macrame pieces, but those machines don't make the pieces like I have here.
Okay.
They make these fine bracelets that you would see maybe at the vendor's market that has Antigua on it, with tiny thread. Those machines do those, but these particular products that I make, they're not machine made, and some art is best to
There's a
be
lady here, she grow cotton, she buy cotton and she makes her own cloth. Which one the word? It's someone who wrote back, so the lady.
What do you mean buy cotton? Buy
She
cotton?
buy cotton and make cloth right in Antigua.
What do you mean she buy the local cotton? We still have people producing cotton.
Yeah, and she buy some just back up here, she do it. She's from Montserrat, and she had the machine and she make cloth.
Okay. That's cool.
And she comes up with the same concept too. Like if you put like fur and on the same thing with the tree, and she used the numbers and we get stronger cloth.
It's amazing. It's just the other day I was doing some research, and it seemed as though this little island of ours have been made up of strictly Africans. Well, I shouldn't say strictly African, 80-something%. Because when I did the research, I discovered that when the slaves came here to Antigua in 1674, they had, from Nigeria, we had 22,000. From Ghana, we had 16,000. From Ivory Coast, 11,000. Cape Verde and Togo, 9,000. Benin, 6,000. When you add all of them up together, it's 73,000. You know, the British normally keep stats, right? And when I looked at that, I had to shake my head. You know, I said, well, Antigua is primarily made up of African descendants. Our ancestors were really, out of those two countries, Nigeria and Ghana actually made up almost 50%. Well, more than 50% of the 73,000, those two areas. So during that time, they brought some of these skills that you guys are deploying now to Antigua, because they used to craft dolls. The ladies, that is, when they play this game that we call round and round. I don't know if you ever engage in it.
No.
The round
With
and
this
round.
string,
The round and
of
round.
course, and we go around and make them.
No, not that, the round and round. The round and round in the actual warrior game. Yes.
Okay, no.
Ladies,
The ladies used to play that, but they also created jewelry of all sorts, headpieces and chains and bracelets. So that has been part of our
culture.
culture dating back from as far as when.
BCE.
Let me take this opportunity once more to recognize all our platinum sponsors. ACB Caribbean, Simply Smarter Banking. 43 years of partnership with Parish League Cricket. We are asking you for all your banking and financial needs to patronize ACB. Visit them today. Seeker Pharmacy. For all your medical and pharmaceutical needs, it's Seeker Pharmacy, your one-stop vitality store to keep the body in a healthy and vibrant state. They are located on the corner of High and Temple Street. And last but not least, Plumbing Electrical Limited, with a wide assortment of plumbing and electrical fittings. Whether your needs are for retail or wholesale, Plumbing Electrical Limited has the quantity and the quality to meet your expectation. Plumbing Electrical Limited, bordering on the Potters and Herberts community. Back to you guys. One of the reasons why I volunteered to do this show is I'm a sport fanatic, and I also admire folks who can do work with their hand, like you guys are doing.
Thank you.
But I always believe that whenever we have certain skills endowed among us, we should have a way of passing on those knowledge to the young people so that we'll have continuity to infinity.
Agreed.
But you know what I say about that, right?
Well, you always, Mansfield always say you have to have a good heart for him to teach you.
And I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
If you have a good heart and a good mind, why should I teach you my skill and you can put the skill in a bad way?
Exactly.
So, like most of the people I teach these guys, I teach girls, guys, I do working, but when we go on the beach, we say 20 US for a hat. Then we say 15. So we create a competition and fight against me. That's why we end up with the position that you have to have a good heart and good mind before we can teach me skill to you. And money not going to help you.
Right.
If you want to pay, still you don't have a good heart. So many people come at Charlie House and want to come and teach them, but we can put them and see that they don't have a good heart and good mind, so we're not going away. You know me, child. You work with each other.
Well, I am not at a point where I am ready to teach persons. It's not about competition or...
What about your daughter? What about your daughter and your son, mommy boy? When they come.
For now, I would not be teaching anyone until I have further developed the skill, because I still have a long way to go, although my pieces look beautiful and brilliant and everyone is so captivated with them and asks all the time, how is it you sit down and make these things? Are you sure you made them, or is it you alone? And how much does it take to get that done? It takes a lot of patience.
I know that.
Yes, it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of determination, and as far as I am aware, if you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to go far. You have to love what you're doing in order to do it and do it correctly.
Yeah, but what I know...
And consistency.
What I know about your fingers. And I know when a person has strong fingers or weak fingers, for you to have, the weaving already warp your finger. You put your hand, you see how the finger curve, and the finger curve?
Yep.
Right from the weaving.
Mostly this side, and I get a lot of burns as well, because the polyester cord, I have to seal them with fire, with heat. So I have to put heat on it, and then I have to do this as well. Yeah.
These are minute stuff.
So you're saying that you could look at somebody's fingers
I know what kind of
and know that
that's what I look at and see, look. The finger twist, the two of them, like mine's don't, because if me know, then the twist would work, so me keep them in a particular farm now.
Interesting.
Look,
Really? Okay, those are nice.
palm tree, motorbike, this one I hit,
The pineapple.
the Antigua black. I mean, request you to make some more to that in pineapple too. You really will sell. The Antigua,
I've done the Antigua flag before. The flag, I would have used it to make a camera hanging.
a lobster.
That's nice.
You use the flag to do what?
A camera hanging. So I made the
Okay.
flag,
Uh-huh.
and I put it on a dowel, those little short wooden sticks, and an elastic band on it, and it can hang from the camera. So
Okay.
it's like decorations for your camera, just like if you put an air freshener there. So instead of just an air freshener, you have a little designed item there.
Interesting.
Yes.
Let's see if we can get some of this stuff from, because when they use the string they use in Africa, it lasts a lifetime. I don't know how long this is going to last. Just like the hat. As we would say with the hat, with the tourists, the length of time that they take, how they're going to last. So we say to them, it's just like you and your wife. If you take care of your wife, it lasts forever. If you don't take care of it, it won't last.
You said it, because I have customers who have items from me for the past 3 years now, and they're still in good condition.
Okay,
Great
a lady
condition.
come back with a picture and a handbag from 30 years ago to that Sunday.
Wow.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
That day, bad. You used to know me when we were 8, they don't want to marry me.
So, Michelle,
Yes.
in terms of the research that you say you did on Africa, what did you discover in terms of the products, the material that could be used to make your products?
Okay, so longevity is something that I am big on. So quality over quantity. And I need my products to be able to last for a long time. They can last a lifetime, as Manfield says. You have to take care of the items that
Yes.
you have.
Like everything else.
Right. So when I started, I would have first started with cotton. The cords that I used were made from cotton.
And the snap.
No, they weren't bursting that easily. What was happening is that the color was changing.
Changing.
Yes, the color was changing.
The dirt got
And-
into them.
Correct. And then I went to nylon. And with the nylon, they're small and they don't have the quality or the standard that I would prefer, because what happens is once I'm making a product and I'm using a cord or a particular bead or stone for the first time, I usually run it through testing. So I'd make it and I would wear it or give it to someone who I know does rigorous work or that would wear it daily, so that I can see the wear and tear on it based on what persons are doing. With the polyester cord now that I'm using, I prefer to use this cord because what happens now is that it lasts longer, it's stronger. The only thing that I would say is to avoid open fire or sparks, because remember, if I use the heat to seal it, then obviously if you use heat, you can damage it. Right?
Obviously.
And this can go into water, it can go into salt water. I have even had a client who she was washing the dishes. Apparently she normally takes it off. She had one of these, a blue one. She normally takes it off when she's going to wash the dishes because she uses bleach, but she forgot. So she called me and she's on the phone all hysterical. She thinks she damaged the bracelet and things like that. Well, it's fine, it's good. Up to today, it has not bleached. It has not turned, the color has not turned. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go out there and put your items in bleach, but
That's
it is
impressive.
strong enough to withstand the chemical
Yeah, but
composition.
nylon and bleach, nylon don't bleach, you don't change it.
The nylon that I'm talking about is not fish wire. There's a cord, there's a
But many
cloth
types of nylon, I
called
know.
nylon, right. Those would bleach, but the polyester that I'm using right now, they're treated to the sense that they won't change because of the chemical composure in the bleach.
Okay.
And it lasts you a very long time. If it gets dirty, because of course, you know these things are inevitable, I would just suggest persons to use warm soap water, just warm soap water and maybe a brush with tiny bristles to brush between the fibers of the cord, and that's about it.
So basically, to get to where you are at this point, there was a lot of trial and error.
A lot of trial and error, a lot of financial losses as well, because it is a sole proprietor business and everything is out of pocket, all capital is out of pocket. And what happens is whenever I am purchasing products, no matter how outstanding a description is on the internet, that's what they say. They can tell me whatever they want, but when it comes here,
That's
I
true.
have to put it through the test to see if it will last long enough, because persons work hard for their money, and I need to be selling them superior products. I don't do mediocre. So when that happens, if the product is not good enough, it goes into the waste bin, or it just puts aside, or I sell it to someone else who's making, a lesser quality work and things like that.
But in a situation like that, do you ever have a situation where you can reclaim or
I've had situations like that.
call the supplier and ask them to refund you or
Yes.
send you something new?
I've had situations where I was able to be refunded. I've had situations where they've done replacements.
Okay.
But it's not all the time, and it also depends on how long I take to actually use the product, because I have products home, raw materials home, charms, spacers, even stones or regular beads that I've had since 2019, sometime 2020, that I've never used, because not everything that I get immediately goes into production.
I see.
Yes, sometimes I see it at the time, the price is right, or I have an idea, this brilliant idea hits me when I see the product. When it comes to Antigua, I'm already doing something else, and I just put that aside.
So it's just like me, I make a dreadlock hat, a baseball cap with a dread, put 2 dreads in, then put it down over like 3-4 years, pick it back up, put in the full dread, go downtown, and then I'm ready to start my
Exactly.
So sometimes when you put them to something, you go back and you see more wisdom to produce other things.
Correct. So that's basically what happens, because even with regards to a design, I may go on the internet and I see this beautiful design. Most times I don't make the designs exactly how I see it. I may put my own little twist to it, or I would learn the technique that they use for that design and do my own design, make my own design.
Yeah, but my skills now, I don't go to know none. They bring me book, we tell them take back our book. So me make everything from the brains. The last new things we make produce like one day ago, come on, one day. This is 20 years ago.
Okay.
But from a design, this, it's like this human being foot all over.
Oh.
And this like yesterday, never did the one before.
Right.
It just comes to my mind and then we just
You get to it. Gotcha.
You know, like we can't follow somebody from the TV. We have to do my own mind. I even you order something. Let's say you order something that we never make before. Then once you order it now, then we'll make it.
All right.
But Mansfield, you mentioned earlier that you started with ropes and you started around boats. How did that come into being?
But for the same, people pulling the same net, pulling the same, and then they after maybe a couple of years, they put down the seine and pull up the boat, and then they begin to mend the nets. And then the other guys were mending, and I was taking pieces of string and so me mend too. But me anyway, they mending me the tire.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but then when we sit down and watch father, he now wife a hole or something, and then he continue. And then we watch and see
Mr. Father, you refer to Mr. Bratwood?
Yeah, Howard Bratwood, schooly father.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we see how them weave, and we watch the other weaver. When they finish work, we want to look at the work and then we learn from mend the fish nets.
Nice.
And then the fish nets now really mashed up your finger. These two fingers, the fish nets mess them up. So then when you're mending them, that's why we learn how to care my fingers. So instead of me use that finger, me use this finger or this finger with the fish net. Instead of using this, because this finger used for everything.
Right.
So then you learn to make the tie, and you learn the name of the ties. And then when you learn, just like when we come back from Bermuda, let me tell the fishermen and them, we were mending the nylon net. So to mend it, you have to do 2 half each. Okay, if you do one, you get one. If you do two,
it's going to slide off. Right.
if you do 2, it stays the same like your work.
Yeah, that's
2 half fish stay in place. 1 half fish, you just you know. So that's where we learn this weaving, and then. Well, who the really thing, a guy come from St. Lucia and make a basket. So a lady said, a lady want 5 of these baskets.
Are you talking about before you had the skill, you knew the skill
of weaving coconut bowl. And then we make the basket, the star in the bottom I couldn't make. This bottom of mine right now. And then she give me next basket the next day. And then we make the star. Just as fast as she give me them and make them. But when we look in the basket and dry the blueprint in the sand, and then take the blue and make it. And from there we start, and then hat and basket, fish, then we just move on to so much other different stuff, then we move on to make anything.
Right.
And then we used to strip them, begin to strip the palm, and make the work more neater and more expensive. And then you go on, and then we can weave it. We used to weave it leather, make your leather, necklace, earring, out of leather. The necklace is not really normally like a pineapple,
Okay.
out of leather. I used to sell them to keep them in place at the end. We never really jam them, but then eventually we learn to jam them. You know, so the skill come from that. And so we teach many people, but then we get in so much trouble just working and selling the product. People to me, Trevor, see it, he works with me, we work with, he go Middle Reef, we go all over, we go English Harbour, even Shirley Heights, everywhere we go on the beach, it's no problem for us. They don't like to see, people they talk about these skills, or teach this, teach that, but then everywhere you go, they oppress it. Everywhere you go. In English Harbour are one of the worst places. Me just say when me have to say, you know what for say, so they tell me don't want to have nothing to do with no politician. Neither pink nor yellow.
It would be remiss of me if I didn't ask my guests. I don't know if both of you follow cricket. I know Mansfield does. I don't know about you, Michelle. But what has really gone wrong with our cricket?
I have no idea. I barely hear about cricket now. It's just the other day someone was telling me that there was cricket last week or week before, something like that. I don't usually follow sports. I didn't grow up playing sports. My dad did not allow us to play sports like that because he was saying, you know, basically the medical services in Antigua is expensive and it is unreliable. So he always had this fear that we'd get injured. And at that time too, I was, you know, the person say MAGA, I was skin and bones. So he was afraid of me falling or somebody bumping into my Nash little frame and breaking me apart, and then, you know, hospital would not be able to assist in the way he needs it.
So he was fearful that you participated in
no sports. No sports.
So, may take a little time, Trevor.
Sure.
Well, we believe for today and yesterday, the people yesterday will have guava, sugar apple, these are all the snacks, maca, coconut, these are the snacks.
You're talking about locally grown food.
These was the players back then snack. For today is pizza.
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
So you think the diet is one of the reasons why
Antigua, we're not dealing with the Caribbean. That's another talk.
We have to extend it out when we talk about cricket.
You get extra, you reach up. So then we believe now, what happened to Antigua, that's why we don't produce the good or the great cricketers. But what keep back our cricketers is those great cricketers from those other islands who see and know that these players from these new islands, that what they did lately to the bowler, Ozari. A World Cup is played. He went into a 2020 game, took 7, 8 wickets, a 9 wicket, and now he can't play World Cup cricket. So maybe it was the bigger countries in them, bigger colony, Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica and Guyana, that messed up West Indies cricket by choosing the wrong players at the wrong time.
So you're saying the selectors...
And this big island business and small island business is what messed up West Indies cricket. I tell them they take a little time. They mess up West Indies cricket very bad by saying that we're not educated. No, you know, no need to have a kid don't learn it and destroy, all right, you know. Keep me calm. You really want to forget it. We're not trying to be brave.
It seems as if you're very passionate about what you're
because we have a test cricket, world test cricket tournament, and West Indies are not in it. And we have all the records of the game.
I see.
We make the record and break them. Now they come up with new simple records, all look at petty something, to try to say this is a record. And then the real record, we have them. And then cricket is a life and death, you know, when it comes to cricket. So these large islands, these people, if I here, you can see them in Antigua, they don't have no respect for us as Antiguan people. When they come here, one of the guys said to me, Don? Okay, it seems like me finished.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. No, you.
Well, they don't have no respect for the Antiguans. And the same way, just like they never have any respect for Vivi and Andy and those other cricketers that we have from back then. They didn't have no respect for them and many things they had no respect. I'm never going to say the whole of Jamaica, the whole of Guyana, the whole of Trinidad. It's the same thing they do to Charlotte in Trinidad.
I don't even think it's a matter of respect or anything.
It's the same thing they do to Charlotte in Trinidad.
There is a different focus. I mean, to me, the genuine love for the game is missing from the individuals that are playing.
The
right?
test match play, when my son forced me to go cricket. And me go cricket, me listen, me go to home, me cook. Boring. Me can't tell me that, you know.
The last time I remember actually going to watch cricket was when T20, the Stanford 20.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
You're talking fun now.
Yes.
But that's Antigua created a cricket game, that's a different cup of tea. And the Barbados wanted the same game to be in Barbados. The guy tell them, listen, an Antiguan's going to come to Barbados and act like Koreac in Antigua. You are not going to allow that. Antigua, you can come in from Barbados and act like you're in Barbados. They allow that. But if an Antiguan come and make all the nice and carry on, you are also sudden, so I can't put it in Barbados. It has to be in Antigua. But the whole world is doing it.
Okay, guys, we have about
5 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
What I want you guys to do for me before we wrap up is, what are your plans for the future? If you can let all the folks in Media Land
We will
know.
put on the tape.
No, exactly what's in the future for Michelle and what is the name of your
Master River.
No, your name of your business?
Oh,
What's the name of your business?
your business.
You.
Oh, me? Oh, Macramish.
Macrame.
Trevor knows my business. He works with me.
So
I was surprised he was asking me if I
Yeah,
could
so-
come to you.
let the public know what is in store for them in the future from Macramish.
Sure,
And
most
Michelle.
definitely. I plan on making more items in terms of the jewelry article or accessory line. I will be bringing out hair accessories soon, brooches. Someone asked me to look into tie pins. So, you know, when you're wearing your tie and you have these little fancy pins, I will look into it. I'm not really,
Interesting.
not really sure if the market would allow me. But it's something I would look into. Maybe I should have it on order, because there are things that I only do on order. For example, anklets. Even though I make anklets, persons have to personalize an anklet based on the demand.
When you say they have to personalize, what do you mean? They bring the design to you and you make it?
Not the entire design, but at least give me an idea what you're looking for.
Okay.
So give me an idea what you want
You
on
have
the
a big
foot,
foot
and I
and a
put it.
small foot.
Outside of that, I have a limited number of standard designs for anklets. So those standard designs, you can customize them, choose a color, and choose the stones or beads that you'd like to be used. I also look forward to opening the business in other markets. So I would like to go regional as well as international. So basically, Macramish needs to be global by the end of 2022.
So do you have a website?
The website is
working
being
on-
worked on.
Working.
To be quite honest, I have been working on this website for a little over 2 years. It's just me. It's a me problem. So I am now ready to focus on the website. I would definitely be looking into changing some of the ways that I present the products in photos, so that I can entice persons that come to the website. And over time, I will definitely continue to develop the website and change a lot of the
That's
representation
impressive.
of my brand.
That's good.
So do you use still pictures or videos?
I do a little of both,
Okay.
but mostly still pictures, and I find that displaying my items on a full white background is better, because what happens now is there are no color clashes. If I do a white piece and I need to take a picture, I put on a different color, so probably blue, since the business is based in blue. But I use a white background to take the pictures so that you can see the color correctly and that you're able to see the craftsmanship. I tend to do detailed shots. So detailed shots is when I come very close to the item when I'm taking the picture, and then I also do a regular portrait shot so you can see the full item.
Gotcha.
But you know, they say picture speaks 1,000 words, but nothing is better than seeing my pieces in person.
Yes.
So I always encourage persons to come to the markets that I attend to, or find me somewhere on the road and see what I have.
I'll give you a
see it in
call.
person.
Master Weaver,
What do we have in the future?
yes, what is in store for the patrons in the future from
Well, it's just
Master
new,
Weaver?
just new invention. And typically, if someone asks for something, we never make it. We just make it.
Oh, by the way, I remember,
The lady didn't get the giraffe.
right, you were supposed to
Can you
get
do the car?
a giraffe for the lady.
She done gone Sunday.
It's a pity though because she was
She really was into it. But you supposed to call me and call for her, but you so busy. In the future, it just will teach people. It was like, you know, we keep talking about 500 people. And 500 people make one hat. That's 500 hats. And next day they make one. And so like, just like me encourage you, if you could come out like what you said for the Caribbean and for the world, make sure you mass produce those things.
Right.
Because in those things are beautiful things.
They're real beautiful.
And when so someone come to me now and they want 100 hats, which they do, and they want 100 baskets, but the choosing I can make them so quick is why I get you with that.
Right.
And they did, but I varnished them and completed them, signed them, and they take them to Dubai.
Nice.
And who was selling my hat? Max. The Minister of Tourism. When they sell for me hat. And the first time sell off, you didn't get into that? And the first thing they sell off are the placement, are the hat and then the placemat.
Nice.
And then when you done, then they pay for them and say no. They pay them in like to and bad news. And he was selling, can you imagine that? And sell off for me hat for me. So the price just gone up. You should have get on that.
I was very reserved since 2018 to now. There was a big shift from
the COVID, okay,
no, not even COVID. There was just a big shift within myself, and I'm now out there. I'm getting as much exposure as I can. I'm speaking about my products and speaking about my passion.
But you have to mass produce them.
I can.
Mass produce them.
I've done it several times before.
Like if you come home and the young guy come one time you want 50, I pick up half like here you go, come. You have a mass produce your work.
I can. It's not impossible.
And use many colors. Use blue too.
But what would it take,
4 or 5
initially?
shades of blue. I have 24 colors.
What would it take for you to mass produce the products? How long will it take you to be able to do
Home
it?
for a month.
Given that you do it by hand
Home
and
for a month.
you don't have folks working with you.
Yes. Well, once I know what I'm making and I set a schedule, I just sit down, I put on something on Netflix or I play an audiobook on YouTube and I just hit it out. Once I have the products and I have the time, I will sit and I'll be focused. I'll get it done. It has happened before. I had an opportunity to create some pieces for the inn out in English Harbor, and I had to present them with 50 items, and I only had 2 or 3 nights to get that done, and I did it. I've even had situations where I was prepping for a market, like recently, the February 6th market for the Austin Sweats Marketplace. At this time, I had 2 6-foot tables to fill. Mind you, 2 6-foot tables. Mind you, I'm coming from doing car booths. When I first went to the Austin Sweats Marketplace last year, I had a little setup in the back of my SUV. I think I had about 40 items, maybe less, set up in the back of the vehicle. Now I have 2 6-foot, I had to get work done. And it only dawned on me that I really needed to get items done. So I made 80 something, about 85 items in about 3 days because I procrastinate sometimes.
What kind of
so
time frame it took you
me
to
a
do
lot
that?
of time. 3 nights. I sat down 3 nights.
3 nights?
3 nights.
Not bad.
So these are cheapest
Pedal
stuff
to
then,
the
these are
metal.
$200 stuff.
The smaller items, so like these particular bracelets that are here
How
and
much
some
are
other
these
designs.
little ones?
Those are 60 and the fully beaded at the side, those are 10 mm stones. Those range from 80 to 90. Look at
Well, we've come to the end of another SSLS episode. We want to thank our guests, Michelle Williams and Mansfield Thomas, aka the Master Weaver. We want to thank our sponsors once more, and we ask the viewing audiences here and abroad to join us next Tuesday when we will have, don't know yet who will be on our show, but we'll have some other interesting representation of our culture, and we'll also talk sports as we usually do. Once again, thanks for viewing and thank you guys for coming.
Thank you guys
Thanks
for
for
tuning
having me.
in and thanks for having us.
That's nice.